Welcome to Journey to Health, a masterclass that will help to lead you to a life of health and well-being. So it's taken me a few years, lots of learning, realization, lifestyle changes, and many light bulb moments to get to where I am today. And the purpose of this masterclass is to help you to recognize those areas of your own life that may benefit from an up level, and for you to know that you can achieve the same results as I have, but in far less time than it's taken me. So, like it says here, never judge a book by its cover. I thought I was leading a healthy lifestyle. I ate well, I exercised regularly, had a good job, loving husband. It all looked rosy from the outside. And I could have settled for that, and many people do. But there were many things that I was actually putting up with. Let me just move forward. So the reality was I was very stressed. I worried about everything. I had a negative mindset. So I was the sort of person whose glass was half empty. If I heard ambulance, I'd always worry that it was somebody that I knew. If something went wrong at the beginning of the day, I'd let it affect my whole day. I would bear a grudge if somebody said something that upset me. I would worry about it for ages. I was a really sensitive soul, took everything to heart. I was a people pleaser, and I lived in the past. I worried about what had happened. I worried about the future. And what I didn't realize that all of these worries going on in my head were actually affecting me physically. I always thought of myself as a strong woman. I can cope. And I didn't actually deal with the emotions. And that sort of led itself to many physical ailments. So I always used to struggle with headaches, migraines. Every time I found myself in a stressful situation, I'd go down with something. I remember as a little girl, I went to brownie camp, and because I was homesick, I ended up with gastric flu. When I got married, I ended up with a really bad throat infection. So I used to find if I got stressed, and we all find this, it will go to a certain area of our body. For me, it was often my throat. So even when I got married, I was on antibiotics for a throat infection. And for me, antibiotics would always lead to thrush. Nobody wants thrush on their honeymoon. But that was the way I lived my life. It was a stressful life. I just took it all internally, didn't deal with it, and it resulted in negative things and ailments in my body. I also struggled with digestive issues, bloatedness, constipation. Many days I wouldn't go anywhere without paracetamol in my handbag for my headaches and Deflatine for my bloatedness. And that's all I knew. I would also get sugar rushes, sugar highs and lows. If you've ever experienced that, it can have a horrible effect on, for me, I would get a sweaty top lip. I would feel disorientated, shaky. So I would always carry a little bag of emergency nuts in my handbag because I was desperate for protein just to level out those sugar levels. I struggled to get to sleep because I had such a lot going on in my mind, a lot of worry. By the time I got to bedtime, I just couldn't get that busyness out of my head, and I would struggle to get to sleep. I also had restless legs, and for anyone that's experienced that, it is horrendous at nighttime. Now, I'd worked my way up in the finance world to a practice manager in an accountancy firm. And after every promotion, still never satisfied. I'd fallen into finance straight from school because the careers advisor had told me I should work in a bank because I was good at maths. And like the good girl I was, that's what I did. I went and worked in a bank. And I actually hated it. And I moved from one finance job to another. never really feeling happy, but actually not knowing else. I struggled with severe PMT. My mood swings were horrendous. Thankfully, my husband was very placid, and he also worked shifts, so he was able to get out of the house, um, because some want to kill somebody. I hope I haven't scarred my two boys for life, through my outbursts during that time, but I wish I'd known how to manage it. But I just thought, that was what I had to put up with. So when I look back at life, maybe it wasn't so rosy after all, but I just accepted it. We all do, don't we? Because we don't know that we can actually do anything about it. It was basically plastering over the cracks. I had my paracetamol, I had my over-the-counter medication, and I just thought, well, that's me. That's what I have to put up with. So I'm hoping you can relate to this. It is my journey, and I'm sure it's a lot of what a lot of women go through. Just putting up with these things, and like I did, just plastering over the cracks. And then life happened. We often have something major that happens in our life. It could be a bereavement, an illness, maybe a relationship breakdown. And when these big things happen in life, they suddenly make you realize that something has to change. So for me personally, there were three major events that hit me like a brick. Thankfully, they didn't all happen at once, but they happened over a period of several years. So 12 years ago, I lost my mum to cancer, and she was my best friend. We did everything together. It was like having a big sister. We'd go shopping together. We'd go for days out, spa days, all of those lovely things. And yeah, she was my best friend. So it hit me really hard when she passed away. And I she had cancer for 20 years, and I watched her deteriorate, and it was devastating. And I didn't grieve, know how to be honest. And I felt that I had to stay strong for my dad, um, my family, and I just buried those emotions for many years. Now, that a year later, I ended up having a hysterectomy, which I now believe was a direct result of not processing those emotions. Um, for the year after my mum passed away, I suddenly got horrendous monthly heavy bleeds. I naturally went to the doctor because that's all I knew. They tried so many different procedures to alleviate the problem, and the end result was a hysterectomy, which is a major operation and life changing. But I didn't know any different. Then a few years later, my husband was involved in a serious bicycle accident. Now, he nearly died. He was knocked off his bicycle, ended up with a fractured skull. I had to take some time off work to look after him. And that affected me again. I hid those emotions. I'm a strong woman. I can deal with this. I nursed him back to health. Fortunately for him, he can't remember anything about the accident, but I remember every single detail, and I carried that with me for years. And then during COVID, my dad died. He was 80. He was a very fit and active 80-year-old. Didn't listen to all the advice when COVID was going around, and he contracted COVID, and he died from it. And not only did I lose my dad, I also lost my family, because grief can do terrible things to people, make them react in different ways. And the result of that was a breakdown in our family unit. So I found myself with no mum, no dad, no close family. Obviously, I still had my husband, my two boys, but it was a real life-changing period. And yeah, how did I deal with it? So there are two ways. And for me, I actually hit rock bottom. And if nothing changes, nothing will change. So I knew there were two options for me. I could have either gone to the doctor and been put on medication, and that wasn't for me. By this time, I had discovered essential oils. So I knew there was a natural way of dealing with things and managing things. So I started to take control. Something for me, I learned that self-care isn't selfish. When we go on an aeroplane, we're always told to put on our life jacket first, look after ourselves, because if we're not looking after ourselves, we can't look after anybody else. So discovering essential oils completely changed my life. What began as a hobby really unveiled a passion in me and opened up a whole new world. I discovered how I could manage all of those symptoms I was getting, the head tension, the digestive issues. It helped me to manage my mood, helped me with my sleep. So I was able to use essential oil instead of reaching for medication. In fact, they introduced me to a whole new different approach to a healthy way of life. And I eventually learned how to remove the toxic chemicals in my life, sort of in my cleaning products, in my beauty products. I stopped using air fresheners. I would use my oils instead of perfumes. And by doing that, I actually realized that a lot of those ailments that I was getting were a direct result of the chemicals, the synthetic fragrances that I was using in my home. So that was a great learning curve for me. The other thing was learning about, what brings me joy. I'd lived my life in the shadow of my parents. I was that good girl, and did everything to please everybody else. Didn't actually know what pleased me. And it was when my boys went off to uni and I went to women's wellness retreat, started learning about different activities and actually, what did I enjoy? And the essential oils that started off with a hobby really got me focused on something that brought me joy. I love to learn. Now, in all my years at school, I hated school. I didn't really like learning. But when you find something that brings you joy, and it just, well, it opened up a whole new world, something that brought out the passion in me, and I was eager to learn. So I would go to learning about essential oils and reading books on, natural things, and just find it learning for me really what made me happy. And I think for busy women, sometimes that is actually quite hard to unveil. And then it's all about finding your tribe. This was a whole new world to me. I worked in the finance world with accountants, and the corporate world everywhere is busy and stressful. I was surrounded by stress. And then when I sort of delve deeper into the world of essential oils, and I came across people who were more spiritual and were leading a calm life. There was talk about crystals and the universe and all these things that were alien to me, but actually I found quite intriguing. And I started to surround myself with these people that were sort of gave me a calm feeling and took me away from the logical finance world to a more sort of calming world, which was wonderful. So it's all about discovering, what brings you joy and putting yourself into those situations. So that leads me on to finding your calm. Now, for years, I'd been stressed and I didn't know how to feel calm. Then I took myself to a yoga retreat, And I'd started to do a bit of yoga and found it so different to the high impact. Obviously, it is totally different to the high impact exercise that I was doing. And I really started to enjoy it. I found by sitting at a desk all the time, especially during COVID, which we were sort of trapped in our homes, I wasn't moving my body. I was starting to get stiff. I was in my early 50s, probably going through menopause. I'd had a hysterectomy, so I really didn't know where I was with my menopause, but my body was starting to get stiff. And by the gentle movement of yoga, it really helped me to move. I went off to this yoga retreat, which also incorporated mindfulness and meditation. And I'd never even heard of mindfulness. I'd never meditated. And when I went to this retreat, it was a 3-day retreat, and I actually cried. It opened up. Well, the first thing, it made me feel calm. And it was a feeling that was quite alien to me. I'd lived this stressful life, didn't know how to feel calm. And it's actually a lovely feeling. And I actually cried throughout the 3-day yoga retreat. I didn't just cry, I sobbed. And what it did for me, it started to release all of that suppressed emotion from losing my mum to losing my dad, the effect that it had on me when my husband went through his accident, and the ongoing effects that had. And yeah, I sobbed through the 3-day yoga retreat, but it made me realize that I had been holding on to those emotions. And if only I'd learned to release those, maybe it wouldn't have shown itself in all of the ailments that I was getting. So it was a real eye-opener to me. And as I got into the calming of yoga, meditation, mindfulness, it made me, it's quite addictive actually. And it helped me stop living in the past, actually live in the moment. And I also so I learned about mindfulness, and I would take myself out onto daily walks. And rather than walk with the shopping list in head or the to-do list, I would start to take note of my senses. So I would look at the trees, I would listen to the bird song, I would live in the present moment rather than thinking about what had happened or what, I still had to do. And I do that now. And every day I go out. And they are very healing. And you find that if you can just get out of your head, you'll find that you'll tap into your creative side. And I thought that was all a load of woo-woo stuff before, but now I go out for a daily walk, and it's when I'm at my most creative time. That and being in the shower. Now, when I'm in the shower and I'm not thinking about anything, just washing my hair, that's when I get my most creative thoughts. So it's when you take yourself out of your busy situation, do something that you enjoy, that's when the creativity starts to flow, and you find yourself in a wonderful calm state. And yeah, I now love that feeling of calm. So I now listen to, the first thing I do in the morning, I make my cacao, I choose my oils, and I choose them on an intuitive basis. So, and I will often tap into my emotions. And I do a meditation every morning. So I use an app, because I can't just sit there and clear my head on my own. I have to listen to a guided meditation, but it does help me to get calm, and it's a lovely way to start the day. I also have changed what I read. I used to read all of the fiction, the Mills and Boons type stories, and 50 Shades of Grey. Now I love to learn. I learn about essential oils. I'm passionate about personal development. And I've even started manifesting and making vision boards. And actually, I'm here in Mallorca, and this is on my vision board, and doing yoga by the sea. So yeah, I thought it was woo woo, but actually, thank you, universe, bring me more. So I started to look at, I up leveled my health, my well-being, and also my nutrition. So I'm a great believer in, well, what you eat and drink. And I was eating a healthy diet, but I wasn't aware that you can change things that are going on in your body by the foods that you eat. Now, we all get into a bit of a rut when we're eating. We might just have the same things week in, week out. When you go shopping, your shopping list is the same. But if you can be careful about the things that you choose, so look at the different coloured fruits and veg. Now, the body loves variety. And by choosing different colours of your fruits and vegetables, you'll be getting different health benefits. Now, this will bring you health sort of benefits to your vision, decreased inflammation. It will help to support the immune function and also reduce your risk of chronic diseases, things like cancer, heart disease, diabetes. So when you go shopping, look at your shopping basket, and if it's all green, then add a bit of colour, add a red pepper, or look at the different fruits, some that you might not have tried before. Be a bit adventurous with your diet, and your body will really thank you. Now, I also, because I thought I was eating a healthy diet. I didn't think I needed supplements. But actually, then I started to learn that we're not getting the nutrients because of the way food is farmed nowadays. You're not getting the nutrients that we were years ago. So it's really important to have good supplementation. So I take doTERRA's lifelong vitality supplements. So I know that I'm getting all the nutrients, all the minerals, the vitamins that my body needs. And after my husband had his accident, he fractured his skull. He had some facial damage, which really affected his sort of physical appearance, but his emotional, how he felt people saw him. And so we both started taking the supplements, and it quickly changed his mood. And I found that if we ran out or he didn't take his supplements, mood would drop. And there's a direct relationship between his mood and him taking his supplements. I knew that by taking the supplements, we were getting the nutrients we needed, and they are amazing for brain health, for mood, so many things that, and now, we both take them regularly, and we have never felt better than we do now. I also started upping my water intake. Now I like water. I like to drink it on its own. I used to squeeze a lemon in my water first thing in the morning because I'd heard that was really good. What I didn't realize was that lemon is acidic and damages your tooth enamel. By now I'd discovered essential oils, so I started replacing my lemon juice with a lemon oil, just a drop, and that comes from the rind of the lemon. So it's alkaline, not acidic, so it won't damage the tooth enamel. You also get the internal benefits in oil. So it helps with digestion, it helps to flush out excess estrogen, really helps to maintain that level that you need in your body to help your body sort of digest the foods. It also, so drinking plenty of water will help with all bodily functions. And if you find yourself feeling thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So it's really important to drink plenty of water. Now, not only do the oils in for the internal benefits, but they also help to flavour water. So if you're not a fan of drinking plain water, you need to add oil into that water. So I add lemon or citrus oils, wild orange. I sort of it throughout the day, And I make sure I drink 2.7 litres at least a day. And it's really good to drink plain water in the morning. And you find that as long as you're hydrated, you'll notice that you sleep better. Um, everything works much better when you are hydrated. So that's a really key thing. If you do nothing else after listening to this masterclass, go and get a drink of water and have a drink. If you're not a fan of cold water, I appreciate when it gets colder, you might prefer a warm drink. So herbal teas are amazing. They're something that you might need to get used to. And I mean, I hated herbal teas to start with. They smelt lovely, but they never tasted like they smelt. But actually, you soon get used to it. And, try and you can change your taste. So I urge you to go and get a drink of water or a herbal tea and make sure you are hydrated, because you will notice amazing changes to your body when you are fully hydrated. So then I invested in myself. Now, after COVID, after I lost my dad, I reached rock bottom and I didn't really take a turn. Now I did a lot of networking, online networking, and I'd met a wonderful lady who did color analysis. So I ended in having my colors done, and I had a wardrobe full of bright colors, but I was living in the same leggings, the jumper, the slippers while I was at home, and I forgot how to. So she helped me to uncover all of those lovely colours, work out what colours suited me. And when you look good, you feel good. And it was such an amazing boost to my confidence. And now I wear bright colours, I wear the colours that suit me. And it just makes me feel so amazing. And if we're feeling good, and we actually project that feeling to others. So yeah, if you get the opportunity to have your colors done, I highly recommend it, because it is lovely to know what colors suit you, what shapes suit you. And yeah, it was the best thing that I did to get me out of that that trap I'd found myself in, just grabbing the same old things every time. Even my handbags everything was brown, my shoes were brown, my purse was brown, my handbag was brown. I'd lost that love of color. So yeah, that was the first thing I did, invest in my color analysis. Then I found a coach. Now, I'd never been one for, well, I think I needed to discover myself, and by having a coach, that really helped me to look within. It wasn't something I felt I could ask close friends or family, but having somebody independent that is able to help you with that is really beneficial. So yeah, it helped me to discover myself, what I wanted out of life. My boys had left home and I suddenly felt lost. I felt like I'd lost my own identity. So that was really helpful for me. And even now I have an amazing coach who helps me with and business. And then find your passion. What brings you joy? For me, what unlocked my passion was discovering essential oils and a passion for healthy living, not just for me, but actually sharing it with others. Because for years I'd been using all these products that were full of chemicals, full of synthetic fragrances that were actually affecting my health. And I didn't know it. And it was only when I discovered essential oils and I knew there was a different way of using things naturally, getting rid of the synthetics, the chemicals, that actually had a massive effect on my health. And I thought, well, if I don't know this, I'm sure a lot of other people don't know this. And that's what has brought me here today, really, to help share with others. Because, yeah, I didn't know that. I'm sure other people don't know that. So I'm here to share that with other people. And take people on their own journey, that you can heal yourself, you can bring yourself out of whatever state you might find yourself in by going within, using the power of nature, these wonderful trees, the sound of the birds, and just tapping into your emotions and your inner self to actually help support yourself. So the results, it took me 4 years of learning, of discovering things, and fast forward 4 years, and I have never felt better. The body heals itself if we create the right conditions and stop doing the things that caused the sickness in the first place. So those ailments have gone. The headaches, I don't get headaches anymore. No migraines. I'm not constipated. I don't get bloated. I used to get water infections. And after being able to manage those with essential oils and then getting to the root cause, I don't get those anymore. I don't get the restless legs. I sleep like a baby. I've got a positive mindset. Let me just see what next. Oh, moved too fast. So yeah, using those natural solutions, for want of a better word, I don't rely on over-the-counter medication. I listen to my body. I use the power of nature. And yeah, when things happen in life, I'm able to focus on the positives. Now, we've been on a massive journey. We've not only moved house, we've moved country, and we have had to jump over many hurdles to get here. And the old me would have focused on the negative, probably stopped and not thought it possible that we could be here where we are now. But actually, the new me focuses on the positive, focuses on the outcome, where I wanted to be. And I made things happen to get us here. And I have never felt better in my body, in my mind. I know, my glass is overflowing. Every day I reset. I start with my meditation, and I know I'm going to have a wonderful day because I'm not focused on the past. I'm not worried about the future. I'm just living in the moment. And, that is a wonderful way to be. And I know that life can be taken in an instant. So we need, what is the point of worrying? Nobody knows how long we've got left. And it's all about appreciating what you've got, looking after yourself, and living for the moment. And that is what I'm here to help everybody do. So what's next? So for me, I'm going to continue living my best life. And I love nothing more than supporting others to do the same. I will carry on doing yoga by the sea, sitting under the tree. This is my new home office, and learning Spanish. So I'm continuing to live that healthy lifestyle, making sure that I'm eating properly, drinking plenty of water, moving my body, just the things that we should be doing naturally and we tend to forget. So what's next for you? Now, this is an introduction. This is obviously my journey. I'm hoping that you've been able to relate this to your own journey and know that it is a journey and it's something that you can take step by step. And that's what I'd like to support you going forward. So my next masterclass will be focusing on the ailments that you might find yourself with and how you can deal with those naturally. So rather than having to go use over-the-counter medication or go to the doctor, there are so many ways that we can support those ailments naturally. And that's what I should be going into in my next masterclass, but digging deep. I've just touched the surface today. And the other option is you can join me in a one-to-one space. So that would involve us getting together via Zoom and focusing on your own individual ailments, the way you are in your life right now, where you want to be, and how we can put into place those steps to get you from A to B using all the natural tools, the tools for your nutrition, for your mindset, moving your body in a way that is personal to you. So I'm here to support you in whatever way is best for you. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So you've got my details here. Please reach out to me if I can help you in any way. And thank you for watching. You will receive the recording of this masterclass. And thank you. I hope it's been of help to you. If I can find now the stop button, I will stop the recording. Goodbye.